As the founder and owner of a boutique consulting firm, whether it's an accounting or legal, property, financial services, financial advice, or advisory firm, chances are you've built a successful practice, and from the outside, everything looks great. You've got the profile, you've got the network, you're the trusted advisor to many, many people over many, many decades. And this level of success is great, but the voice in the back of your head, the bit that we don't always say out loud, is that it hasn't necessarily translated to the freedom that you were hoping for. And so what I like to do is show you the founder's path to freedom by digitizing and modernizing the business. So I've got the pathway here. Let me talk you through it. So there's basically 3 phases. The first phase is really to replicate yourself. And the way that we do this is that we unpack all of the assets that you've got. Now, specifically, what I'm talking about here is building a digital version of you. And by this, I mean like just getting digital content and a digital profile that reflects the real life version of you, so that people can get to know, like, and trust you through your digital content, discover you through your digital profile without chewing into your actual finite real life time. All right, so then we also want to look at the virtual version of you. And by this, I mean your business network. Now, over the course of your business career, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you've built an incredible business network, but it's often just all up in your head and it's not easily accessible or organized. And so what I like to do is organize that business network so that you have got a clear picture of who is who in your business world, so that you can have a system and a process for re-engaging with those people, reactivating those relationships, and staying top of mind. And the third part of replicating yourself then is having an AI version of yourself. So by this, I mean training a GPT so that it understands your business, your ideal clients, your offer, your writing style, the way that you think, so that you have not only an asset that can help create your digital assets, but a sounding board and a co-pilot for having discussions and brainstorming how to take the business forward. Now, that's the first phase. That typically takes about the first 90 days. And it's all about what you end up with there as a marketing engine. You've got a way that you don't rely on word of mouth and referrals. Now, word of mouth and referrals are fabulous. And in fact, most successful practice owners have built their business off word of mouth and referrals. So keep them going, but you will also know that you are at the mercy of asking for referrals or hoping for word of mouth. Now, with a marketing engine, you're in control. You've got a system that you can rinse and repeat. It's low tech, it's very effective, but it's all organized. All right, so the trap here is once that marketing engine has been installed and it's working, you bring in new business. So the fact that you're bringing in business here means that there's some money flowing in, and it means that there's client delivery work to do. Now, all too often, what happens is that when you get new projects in, you get busy doing the doing. And this is the big, big trap that you want to be conscious of, because as soon as we are bringing in new business, we need to be very, very aware that we need to focus on our client delivery. And with the client delivery, what we want to be focusing on is what I call freedom systems, so that we don't get trapped into the grunt work and the grind of this part. So client delivery is important. We implement the freedom systems. And what I specifically mean here is the invisible infrastructure So obviously not physical infrastructure like offices and people and all of that, but the GPTs, the AI agents, the systems, the processes, the VAs that are all working behind the scenes to make sure that you can deliver your client projects better and faster than just on your own. Now, a lot of the time with my clients, when they do implement, particularly what I call the Delivery GPT, so training up an AI in how you deliver projects, that can typically save 30 to 40 hours per project per client. And so that is so critical in this process because you're getting your time back, you're delivering on projects, and in fact you're delivering it faster and better than if you were doing it all yourself. And that's because you've got the GPTs that you've trained up that can move through this significantly faster. So with the invisible infrastructure and the delivery GPTs, your freedom systems then mean that you don't get sucked back into the feast or famine, and you're delivering work better and getting your time back. So that's a big win. Phase 3 is an optional step. Now phase 3, so just to recap, marketing engine 1, delivery systems 2. Phase 3 is all about the scale and going beyond you. So this can mean for some people succession or exiting, or succession might be a family member, it might be somebody internally that you groom up to be the CEO or the general manager. But what this means for you as the founder and owner is that you are working in your genius zone, or you're only doing genius zone stuff. Now, for a lot of people, genius zone stuff is the thought leadership. Maybe it's spreading the word through books or speaking or workshops or podcasts. Maybe it's working with a handful of your favorite clients, or maybe it's mentoring people internally. But whatever it is, you are there as the face, as the founder, as the expert, just doing the bits that you love, knowing full well that the business, the sales, the delivery, all that is humming along nicely without you being the bottleneck. And for my clients, what we can typically do is reduce what used to be a 5-day week down to 3 mornings, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What that means is you've got every afternoon off after lunch. You've got 2 days off per week to play golf or see your grandkids or get fit or stay fit or go for a walk, take your wife for lunch or dinner. Any of those fun things outside of running your business. And when you install this, when you go through this freedom pathway, that is what you can expect when you unlock these 3 stages. Now I mentioned before, the first phase is literally 90 days. Now the freedom systems, you can actually implement these much faster than you think. It doesn't need to be a long drawn out process, but let's call it 6 months. And then if you want to then move to the third phase, you might be looking at 1 to 2 years there, depending on how fast you want to move. So it starts with the marketing engine. We replicate yourself. We remove you as the bottleneck. Same deal with delivery. We remove you as the bottleneck. We speed things up so you don't fall back into the feast or famine trap of doing it all. And then we scale beyond you through succession, or you just stepping back to do purely the genius zone stuff in sort of 10 hours a week. So if that appeals, let me know. This is the journey that I've been helping clients along. And if it resonates, particularly if you're the founder of a boutique accounting, legal, property, financial services or financial advice type company, or you're an advisor or consultant in a sort of professional services capacity, this is in your sweet spot. So reach out, let's have a conversation, and I'll show you how it all works.